Hi, everyone. It is me, Sailor Moon, Serena here, and it's me, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Quicksilver, Amy here. And today we're going to talk about, you know, how Dwayne got into Sailor Moon. Now, I know a lot of folks have heard this saga and tale before, but this is for any newcomer that need be wants to know how this all happened. Now, believe it or not, Dwayne has not been into Sailor Moon as long as everyone else has. Most everyone else in the Sailor Moon followership will say that, well, they got into it in between 95 YL, either watching it on WB or UPN or Fox, or YTV if you're in the settled land, or later on USA or Cartoon or Drawing Show, if you were in the 4-1 Reichs. Now, in between 95 YL, very few folks even knew about Sailor Moon. Well, they knew there were drawing shows and drawing films from Dawnland, but very few folks even heard of Sailor Moon. And if they did, well, they never got to see it. Now, there were some days in between 95 YL where Dwayne happened to see some of the sagas of Sailor Moon. I guess mostly on UPN, I would guess. Could have been on WB. And he'd watch some of them, then he'd go through his day, and then that would be the end of it. I mean, it didn't come up. I mean, he didn't talk about it when he was at home. And when he was at Learn, it didn't really come up. So years go by, and then he's watching it on USA, but not thinking anything of it either, even when he's doing it there. And then years go by, and then he forgets about Sailor Moon. Hell, he doesn't even know if that's the name of the show or not. And then one day, towards the end of the 8th month of 2008 YL, he ends up watching Nostalgia Critic, or the Past Scaver. And I know a lot of folks have a lot of thoughts and beliefs on him, but we're not talking about him, but we're talking about, we started talking about all the drawing show women out there, and he brings up Sailor Moon, and that's when he said, hey, I do think back to watching that. And then he was into it since then, watching it on every website that had it. And no website truly has the streaming rights to Deke Sailor Moon or Pioneer Sailor Moon, so yeah, it is what it is. But he's been into it ever since then. And then started getting all the dolls, well, at least not all of them, but a lot of them. And then it is what it is. You got anything to say? Well, you're right, Sailor Moon. I mean, at the end of the day, Serena, that's how he got into Sailor Moon. And at first, you could see it on YouTube or Euro, then Vugon, but no longer on that website either. Then sundry other websites out there had it for some time. Then Anime Planet or Drawing Show World, which is no longer around anymore. And another one called Sailor Moon Online or whatever. It was another website that had Sailor Moon, had the Deke Sailor Moon on it, but it had all kinds of pop-ups and showings, and then came to SailorMoonTV.com, yeah, but these folks were guilty, said they didn't believe in ownership and blah blah blah, and the next thing you know, they're down for they're shut down due to ownership and double right. And then after that, on Kiss Cartoons or Kiss Drawing Show website, or also on Watch Cartoons Online or Watch Drawing Shows on Interweb. And he's been doing ever since then. And yes, he did get the dolls, Mostly Irwin Toys, some Bandai. But he doesn't got all the toys ever made by Irwin Toy or Bandai or Great Eastern Glee. He's got a lot of them, not all of them. And he's been in a Sailor Moon since 2008 YL, which is a long time to be in a Sailor Moon for a newcomer. And some folks out there maybe think he doesn't know as much about Sailor Moon as everyone else says, but that's not true. Neeby, his take on Sailor Moon might not be the same take everyone else's take is, but he's still, And yes, it's true. Back in the day, he did watch it on UPN or WB and USA and Cartoon or Drawing Show and not think anything of it. Because as we said, no one talked about it. He didn't bring it up at home, didn't bring it up at Learn or anything like that. So your guess is good as mine. And then he does seek to get other folks into Sailor Moon. But if they don't want to get into it, that's their own business, It's not for everyone. So, and you also you want to take it back. So that's how Dwayne got into Sailor Moon. I know it's for those who heard this. Those who heard this before or watched this before, you don't have to. But for any newcomer out there who wants to know how did he get into it, well, now you got the answer. All right, it's about time to end this film now. So you're right, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Quicksilver, Amy. All right, so give this film a like. Share it, playlist it, beloved it. Do all the things you can do to every upload, every live stream, and every short out there, because you can only follow someone once. And tell me what you think about this. And we'll see you later.